Alexander Sawney Bean is one of the most infamous and chilling figures in Scottish folklore, a name that has sent shivers through generations. According to legend, he lived during the 16th century and became the patriarch of a hidden clan of cannibals who dwelled in a coastal cave preying on travellers for more than 20 years. The story first emerged in sensational 18th century publications detailing crime and monstrosity, and it has since become a staple of dark folklore, often cited as one of the most horrifying tales of human depravity. Its blend of the grotesque and the impossible has ensured that Sawney Bean remains a figure of fascination for historians, storytellers, and thrill-seekers alike. Born in East Lothian, Scotland, Sawney Bean was said to be the son of a humble ditch digger and hedge trimmer. He was incapable of maintaining a conventional livelihood and eventually abandoned his home with a woman named Agnes Douglas, who in later retellings was accused of witchcraft. Together, they wandered the countryside until they discovered a secluded sea cave near the Ayrshire coast. This cave, hidden among rugged cliffs and accessible only at low tide, would become the lair of their gruesome enterprise. Over the years, they allegedly produced 6 daughters and 8 sons, all of whom eventually married within the family, creating a twisted and isolated clan of 48 members. The clan survived in the shadows, bound together not by society, but by secrecy, fear, and shared acts of horror. The Beans reportedly did not work for food in the usual sense. They lay in wait along quiet roads and coastal paths, emerging under the cover of darkness to ambush lone travellers or small groups. Once victims were seized, they were dragged back to the cave, where they were butchered and consumed. Flesh was eaten immediately, while other parts were pickled or preserved for later. Occasionally, severed body parts would wash ashore, horrifying locals and initially leading them to believe that wild animals were to blame. The reality that a human family was behind the gruesome remains was unimaginable to those living nearby. For years, the villagers were unaware of the horror unfolding so close to their homes. Searches were frequent but fruitless, and suspicion fell on innocents. From innkeepers to wandering travellers, fear and superstition dominated the region, and the disappearances seemed a mystery beyond solving. That is, until a critical error by the clan changed everything. They attacked a married couple returning from a fair, only to encounter a husband skilled in combat. Though his wife was tragically killed, the husband survived long enough to alert others, sparking the chain of events that would uncover the Beans' horrific secret. The news eventually reached King James, who, according to the legend, commissioned a search party of hundreds of men accompanied by bloodhounds. The hounds traced the scent to the cave entrance, and what awaited them inside was a scene of unparalleled horror. The chambers were filled with human remains, barrels overflowing with dismembered limbs and scattered personal belongings of the victims. The sheer scale of the clan's atrocities was laid bare, leaving the searchers horrified and cementing the legend of Sawney Bean in local and later national consciousness. The clan's fate was equally terrifying. In the most common versions of the tale, the men were executed in brutally violent ways, mutilated and left to die slowly, while the women and children were tied to stakes and burned alive. In some accounts, Sawney himself met his end in the cave, which was sealed with gunpowder, leaving him to suffocate in the darkness that had been his home for decades. His supposed final words were a chilling declaration that the horrors he had enacted would never be forgotten, an eerie coda to a life of unimaginable violence. Historians remain deeply sceptical about the existence of Sawney Bean. There are no contemporary records from the 16th century, documenting the mass disappearances or the extraordinary search party supposedly organised by King James. Many scholars believe the story may have been exaggerated or entirely fabricated, perhaps as entertainment for readers of sensational crime pamphlets or as a political tool, portraying Scots as barbaric during periods of tension with England. Others suggest that the legend drew upon older European tales of cannibalism and rural banditry, woven together into a single horrifying narrative. Regardless of its origin, the story captured imaginations, blending fact and fiction into a terrifying folklore. The tale of Sawney Bean has endured for centuries and has influenced literature, film, music, and even television. It remains a symbol of humanity's darkest impulses, a story where isolation, secrecy, and unthinkable acts combine to create a legacy of terror. The legend reminds us of the thin line between myth and reality, and how folklore can be both a reflection of society's fears and a testament to the imagination's ability to conjure horror. It continues to captivate modern audiences, from those fascinated by historical crime to those who enjoy the macabre and the mysterious. The story of Sawney Bean is a haunting reminder of the extremes of human behaviour, whether real or imagined. Its enduring presence in culture shows that certain tales, no matter how grotesque, have the power to fascinate and horrify generations. If you found this story compelling, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with others who are captivated by dark folklore and the most chilling corners of history. There are countless more stories of terror and mystery waiting to be discovered, each one stranger and more unsettling than the last.